Who decides what you see on TV every night? That question is at the heart of a national controversy. This week, a top government official threatened to take ABC off the air after Jimmy Kimmel made a controversial joke on his late-night show. The FCC's chairman, Carr, warned ABC that if they didn't act, the government might revoke their license, a move that shocked the country. ABC quickly suspended Kimmel's show, sparking a fierce debate about free speech and government power. Politicians, even within the same party, are clashing over whether this is about protecting decency or silencing dissent. At stake is a core American value, the freedom to speak our minds without government interference. Who should control what we see? The government, the networks, or us, the viewers? Let's break down what's really happening and why it matters to everyone. To truly understand the crisis unfolding in the world of American broadcasting, you first need to know about the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. This powerful government agency sits at the very heart of how information flows across the country, shaping what millions of people see and hear every day. The FCC is responsible for managing the public airwaves, which are considered a national resource. It grants licenses to television and radio stations, giving them the legal right to broadcast their signals over these airwaves. Without an FCC license, a station simply cannot operate. These broadcast licenses aren't permanent. Every few years, stations must apply for renewal, and the FCC reviews their performance. The agency checks if stations are serving the public interest. This means providing local news, educational programming, and following rules about decency and fairness. If a station fails to meet these standards, it risks losing its license. The renewal process can be rigorous, involving public input, technical inspections, and detailed paperwork. Stations often dedicate entire teams to ensure they're in compliance, knowing that their very existence depends on the FCC's approval. Revoking a license is the FCC's ultimate threat. It can take a station off the air entirely, silencing its voice and cutting off its audience in an instant. This is a rare and serious action, but the possibility always looms. National networks like ABC, NBC, and CBS depend on hundreds of local affiliates to reach viewers in every corner of the country. If the FCC threatens the licenses of these local stations, it puts enormous pressure on the entire network, potentially disrupting news and entertainment for millions. Historically, the FCC has tried to avoid judging the political content of broadcasts. Its focus has been on technical standards, like signal quality, and basic decency rules, such as limits on obscene language or graphic content. The fear among journalists and free speech advocates is that if the FCC starts policing opinions or editorial choices, it could become a tool for silencing critics and stifling dissent, rather than protecting the public. That's why Chairman Carr's recent threats, focused on political speech rather than technical violations, are so alarming to many. They represent a potential shift in the FCC's role, from neutral regulator to political enforcer. It's a dramatic and unsettling shift in how government power is used over the media, raising urgent questions about the future of free expression and the independence of the press in America. What did Jimmy Kimmel say to spark this firestorm? On his show, Kimmel joked about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, a topic many saw as too sensitive for humor. Critics accused Kimmel of mocking political violence, calling his remarks cruel and dangerous. Outrage exploded on social media, and ABC faced intense pressure from viewers and advertisers. The network had to choose stand by Kimmel or respond to the backlash. Within hours, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely, and dozens of local stations dropped the show. Kimmel has remained silent, leaving his future and the show's uncertain. The controversy became a public relations nightmare for ABC and Disney. The silence and swift action only deepened the drama. Amid the uproar that followed the controversial broadcast, FCC Chairman Carr took an extraordinary and highly public step, one that would reverberate far beyond the usual regulatory circles. Carr, known for his outspoken views, decided to address the situation head-on, making it clear that the FCC was watching closely and would not hesitate to intervene if necessary. On a conservative podcast, Carr didn't mince words. He called Kimmel's remarks the sickest conduct possible, a phrase that stunned listeners and quickly made headlines. He issued a stark warning to ABC, demanding that the network take immediate action against Kimmel, or else face severe consequences from the FCC. The message was unmistakable. The government was prepared to step in if the network failed to act. Carr's message was blunt and unmistakably forceful. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The phrase, echoing the language of old gangster movies, sent a chill through the media world and left many wondering just how far the FCC was willing to go. If ABC didn't act swiftly, Carr hinted that the FCC might target their broadcast licenses, a move that could threaten the very existence of the network's over-the-air operations. The threat was not just theoretical, it was a real possibility, and broadcasters across the country took notice. Even after ABC suspended Kimmel in response to the outcry, Carr remained unsatisfied. He insisted, "We're not done yet," signaling that the FCC's scrutiny would continue and that further action might still be on the table. Critics quickly seized on Carr's language, comparing it to classic mob threats. "Nice business you have. Shame if something happened to it." The comparison wasn't lost on the public, and the phrase began circulating on social media as a symbol of government intimidation. This wasn't the usual tone from a federal regulator. Instead of measured legalese, Carr's words sounded more like a warning from a crime boss, raising eyebrows among legal experts and free speech advocates alike. Carr's refusal to back down, even after ABC's disciplinary action, alarmed many who saw it as a dangerous overreach of government power. Journalists, activists, and ordinary citizens began to question whether the FCC was crossing a line that should never be crossed. The threat to use regulatory power as a weapon against political speech set off a political firestorm. Lawmakers from both parties weighed in, some defending Carr's tough stance, others warning of a chilling effect on free expression. The episode raised urgent and troubling questions about the limits of government authority, the independence of the press, and the future of free speech in America. Was this a necessary intervention or a dangerous precedent? Carr's aggressive stance became a lightning rod for criticism from both sides of the political spectrum, fueling heated debates on cable news and social media. The stage was set for a major political showdown, with the eyes of the nation fixed on the FCC and the future of broadcast regulation hanging in the balance. The controversy took a twist when Senator Ted Cruz, a leading Republican, condemned FCC Chairman Carr's actions. Cruz called Carr's threats dangerous as hell, warning that government intimidation of media is a threat to democracy. He argued that, while Kimmel's comments were offensive, the government should never force a network to act. Cruz compared Carr's tactics to mob extortion, saying, "This is right out of Goodfellas." He warned that if Republicans use government power to silence critics, Democrats could do the same when in power. Cruz's stand reframed the debate. It wasn't about Kimmel, but about protecting the First Amendment for everyone. His criticism showed that this issue cuts across party lines. The principle of free speech, Cruz argued, must be defended even for those we disagree with. President Trump jumped into the fray, siding with FCC Chairman Carr and opposing Senator Cruz. Trump praised Carr as a great American patriot and dismissed Cruz's warnings. This public split exposed a deep divide within the Republican Party. Traditional conservatives like Cruz argue for limited government and free speech, even for opponents. Trump and his allies favor using government power to fight what they see as a hostile media. For them, controlling the narrative is more important than upholding abstract principles. This clash is reshaping what it means to be a conservative in America. The battle lines are drawn between freedom from government and the urge to fight back against perceived media bias. The fight quickly spread through Washington, with politicians from both parties taking sides. Some Republicans joined Cruz, warning that FCC overreach could backfire on conservatives. Others tried to find a middle ground, supporting questions about network conduct but insisting on First Amendment protections. Democrats were united in outrage, calling for Carr's resignation and a formal investigation. The controversy created strange alliances, Republicans defending free speech, Democrats demanding accountability. The debate became bigger than Kimmel or Carr. It was about the role of government and the future of free speech. The lines between left and right blurred as the stakes grew higher. The episode forced everyone to reconsider their core beliefs about media and power. At its core, this is a battle between free speech and government control. The First Amendment protects speech and the press from government punishment. Cruz's side argues that the answer to bad ideas is more speech, not censorship. If the government decides what's acceptable, it can silence dissent and control public opinion. Carr and Trump's side sees a biased media abusing its power, justifying government intervention. But if the government can threaten networks, it could lead to state-approved news and propaganda. A free press is supposed to hold the powerful accountable, not be controlled by them. If government power grows, the watchdog becomes a lapdog. The stakes are high. Who gets to decide what you see and hear? This debate affects every American, not just politicians. So who should decide what's allowed on TV? The government, the networks, or us? This question isn't just about what we watch for entertainment. It's about who gets to shape the stories, ideas, and information that reach millions of homes every day. The answer affects not only our nightly routines, but also our understanding of the world and our place in it. Giving government the power to silence critics risks turning news into propaganda. When officials control the airwaves, dissenting voices can be muted, and the truth can be hidden behind official narratives. History has shown us that unchecked government control over media can threaten democracy itself. Letting corporations decide means business interests could shape what we see. Networks and advertisers might prioritize profit over public interest, choosing programs that attract the most viewers or please sponsors, rather than those that inform or challenge us. This can limit the diversity of perspectives and stories available to the public. But maybe the real power belongs to viewers. After all, every time we turn on the TV, we make a choice. Our preferences, habits, and voices can influence what stays on the air and what disappears. We choose what to watch, what to support, and what to ignore. Our collective decisions send powerful signals to networks and advertisers about what matters to us. Even small actions, like changing the channel or recommending a show, can add up to big changes in what's offered. Our voices, through ratings, feedback, and online discussion, shape the media landscape. Social media, online petitions, and public forums give us new ways to express our opinions and demand accountability from those who produce and regulate content. This controversy reminds us that freedom of speech is a responsibility, not just a right. It's up to each of us to protect open dialogue even when we disagree, and to stand up for the principles that keep our society free. We must be active participants, not passive consumers. By engaging in conversations, asking questions, and staying informed, we help ensure that media reflects the true diversity and complexity of our society. The future of media and democracy depends on what we demand and defend. Our votes, our voices, and our vigilance all play a role in shaping the standards and freedoms we enjoy. In the end, it's up to us to decide what kind of country we want. The choices we make today will echo for generations, influencing not just what's on TV, but the values we share as a nation. The debate isn't just about Jimmy Kimmel or the FCC. It's about all of us. It's about our willingness to engage, to question, and to take responsibility for the media environment we help create. Our choices and our vigilance will shape the stories we're allowed to hear. The power to decide is in our hands if we choose to use it.